to see ya. Thanks for joining. How are you doing? Hello, Taylor Campbell. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Musical Mondays. Just gonna give a couple minutes for the old Instagram algorithm to do its thing and tell people that I've gone live. Usually takes a moment or two for it to show up in people's feeds. Hey, tell me where you're tuning in from tonight. I'll just plunk away. Hello, Inner Vortex. Thanks for joining. Welcome to Musical Mondays. All right, I'm just gonna plunk away a bit. How are y'all doing? It's a sitting down. Okay, Southern Gulf Islands. I asked where people were tuning in from tonight for those of you who just joined. So we've got the Southern Gulf Islands. So that is not too far from where I am in Victoria. Welcome, welcome Southern Gulf Islands. All right, so maybe I will get started. Just checking the chat. So we're live on Instagram tonight. I kind of ditched Facebook. I was going live, okay, Saanich. So that's on Vancouver Island. I was going live on Facebook too, but was having some technical issues, which I still haven't sorted out. So it's Instagram alone tonight. Yeah, I need to work on my live stream back end. So in time, I'll probably be doing it a little differently. I won't leave Instagram behind, but I might be trying to stream on Instagram and Twitch or Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. So we shall see. So tonight I was going to focus in, do a deep dive on my next single, which is Carrier Hotel, and that releases on Friday. I've made a couple posts on the socials about it. And it's a song from my back catalog, actually. It came out on my 2016 album, No Static. And it was co-written with Ron Yamuchi, who's a songwriting collaborator, and musician I've worked with for a number of years. And that whole album we wrote collaboratively together. And this is one of the songs that we co-wrote. Hello, Alpha Women Rock. Thanks for joining. So this song, I never released it as a single when I did that album cycle. So I wanted to release it, but I wanted to freshen it up a bit. So I did a remaster of the song, and Andrew Downton from Real-Town Mastering in Vancouver did a wonderful job of remastering it. It's out Friday. See, what else can I tell you about it? I talked about Ron, I mentioned Andrew. There's a great guitar part in the song, and that was done by Ken Schroeder, who's a Vancouver guitarist and musician and member of the indie band Silent Martin. And he also does, Ken does a lot of, how can I describe it? Kind of new music, experimental improv music. So having his kind of guitar voice on the song was pretty interesting, and it kind of added some really great like cyberpunk and synthwave elements to it, surprisingly enough, with the guitar. It's pretty cool. And because it's really a folk rock song when you get right down to it. There's also mandolin in the song, and bass and keys, and Ron played the mandolin, the bass, and the keys, and sang backup vocals. Ken on guitar, myself on guitars, and Tony Lee on drums. And I think I've captured everybody. And it was recorded with Brent Cross, also in Vancouver at the Grizz Studios. And Brent did the engineering and the mixing. And and I mentioned Andrew from Railtown Mastering did the remaster of it. So I'm quite excited to release it. And I'm making a music video for it. I'm actually making the music video this coming weekend with John Flatapus. Oh, sorry. John Flatman, sorry. His Instagram handle is Flatapus, and I always do that to him. I say his Instagram handle as his last name. Very silly. Anyway, John is making a music video. I'm quite excited about it. So we're doing that on the weekend, and it's going to be shot in and around Victoria. So we'll be releasing that probably a week or two after the single releases. So watch for that. I'll be posting about that. I'm really excited to work with John again, because he did my video for the Great Acceleration, the remix to Great Acceleration, which I released in the fall. Did a lovely job of that. So that was pretty cool that I get to work with him again. So I was going to play a little acoustic version of the song, and then maybe talk a little bit about the lyrics and the meaning. But you know, I often play a song, and then I talk about what it means afterwards from my perspective and what I was thinking about when I wrote it. And it occurred to me that maybe people want to hear that before I play the song, so that they can think about that as I'm playing. So maybe let me know in the chat. Do you want me to chat a little bit about the song first, or play a verse and then stop and talk about it? So I am open to your direction, so let me know what you want me to do. I'll pause for a minute, because it takes a minute there's a bit of a lag if you're typing in the chat as to when I receive it. Or I could just get you to vote. If you want me to play a bit of the song first, give me a heart. Not seeing any hearts. If you want me to talk about the song first, give me some hearts. Okay, there's a play first. All right, that's the first direction I got. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that direction. Thank you, Dan. Hello. Oops. Hello to Lacey Tracy in the Victoria House. Thanks for joining. So we're talking about Carrier Hotel, and I just asked people to vote on whether they want me to play some of the song first or talk about it first. And I got direction to play a bit first, so I'm going to do that. From streetlight to streetlight, wind your way down Front Street. You dodge the net sweepers, squeeze through a choke point. You carry a message You carry a message close to your heart. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell at the Carrier Hotel. A room on the 8th floor, warm light and machine hum greets you at the door. Stay away from the window with a little cash and a fake ID. You can be whoever you wanna be at the Carrier Hotel. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell. Hotel down Hudson Street is a disappearing act. Every room is full of masks. You walk out as someone else. It's the most real you'll ever be when you're packing your new identity at the Carrier Hotel. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell at the Carrier Hotel. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell. I'll meet you at the door, a room on the 8th floor. Leave your heart, leave your heart. You can drown in the ecstasy, get lost in your fantasies at the, leave your heart at the Carrier Hotel. Carrier Hotel. The Carrier Hotel. There we go. All right, we got a second play while I was playing. So there's a little acoustic version of the song. It's very much an indie folk rock tune, and as I was saying in the intro, that the addition of Ken's kind of very experimental guitar work, it gives it a real cyberpunk synthwave feel to it. Thanks so much, Dan. Thank you, Victoria. Appreciate the feedback. So yeah, it's a fun one to play. On the acoustic, it's very much, I don't know, it's very, just a very simple rhythmic part. You know, it's funny, I actually haven't played this song for probably about 6 months or more. So I'm glad I still remember it. So thanks for being part of me getting reacquainted with my own song. It's a fun one to play. I really I enjoy the lyrics of this song quite a bit, and I tell you a little bit. Well, actually, first of all, I'll ask a question. Were you able to make out the lyrics? I was trying to enunciate as well as I could, but I'm not sure how how well that translated on the live stream. Maybe give me a thumbs up or a heart. Okay, Dan says he likes the lyrics. Okay, I could do a little bit of a deep dive into the lyrics, a little bit, and give you some context of the meaning of the song. Okay, there's some hearts. Hello, Suna Cho, thank you for joining. Okay, lots of hearts. Okay, great. Oh, good, the lyrics came through really clearly. That's great. I'm really pleased about that. So the song actually was inspired by, hello Suna, thanks for joining. It was inspired by a CBC podcast that I listened to. I think it was Ideas. A few years back, and the podcast was on citizen surveillance and how the internet works, kind of the behind the scenes view of the internet. And they were talking about these facilities called carrier hotels that are large facilities that are located in some large cities in North America. And when I say large, like they occupy like these massive city blocks. So they're these massive buildings. And what goes on in these buildings is that there are clusters of data communications equipment, communications media and providers where they all come together. They're really like conditioners of, hello Beth Cogler Blom, thank you for joining. They're really conditioners of our internet traffic. So they control kind of the speed and content in some ways. But I was quite taken with this podcast and the way that the interviewer and the interviewee were talking about citizen surveillance, and I just started to think about a hard-boiled detective story. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool. And thinking about the internet and how we can be shapeshifters in the online world, where we can be someone else or whoever we want to be, really. We could take on another persona. There's a certain performative element to being online. Case in point, myself being in a live stream and projecting an image of myself out to the world that is fairly authentic. I'll give myself that. But I could be projecting a different image of myself than I am. So I'm going off track a bit, but I started to think about data echoes and how we, in some ways, have no secrets in the networked world, and we leave what some people call a digital tattoo. So the idea of a digital tattoo being something that you put out there in the world, but it's really hard to remove it. Takes a great deal of effort to remove it. So that's where kind of the lyrics came from. And oh, thanks, Dan. Dan's saying he likes the dark theme of the song. So maybe I'll just read a few of the lyrics just to kind of bring some of those ideas I talked about home. So if you really think about the hard-boiled detective story, that's what I was getting at. Scrub it, LOL. Yeah, scrub the tattoo. Tattoos can be removed, but it takes a huge amount of effort. So that's kind of the idea of the digital tattoo, that it's something that could be there permanently. All right, so Carrier Hotel. The lyrics go like this. From streetlight to streetlight, wind your way down Front Street. You dodge the net sweepers, squeeze through a choke point. You carry a message close to your heart. You carry a message close to your heart. So, and I'm mentioning a place in there. So Front Street is actually the location in Toronto. I mentioned these carrier hotels are are located in various cities throughout North America. That's really kind of all the research I've done is where they are in North America. So there's one in Toronto on Front Street, and the last time I was in Toronto, which was in early 2020, just prior to the pandemic, I drove past that city block where the Carrier Hotel is located. It's this massive building, like not a skyscraper, but like a, I don't know, like maybe a 5 to 8 story building that occupies, felt like multiple blocks, but it was this massive building, kind of nondescript and not signed, like it doesn't say Carrier Hotel or here's where your internet traffic is conditioned. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting for me to see that. And then the next line after that goes, you dodge the net sweepers. So the idea that there's, and you squeeze through a choke point. So the idea kind of playing with that hard-boiled detective story and some of the mechanisms of how the internet works. So the net sweepers, so that's the kind of the conditioning of the internet traffic and kind of the analysis of the internet traffic that goes on in these facilities, and squeezing through a choke point. So if your internet traffic is slowed down for a particular reason, maybe you're somebody that is streaming massive files or doing massive file exchanges, well, your service provider might slow down your internet a bit to discourage the hogging of bandwidth. And then the next line, you carry a message close to your heart. So there's that hard-boiled detective story, kind of like, you know, you've got a secret and you're carrying it close. Yeah, a digital tattoo, that is. Yes, indeed. So there's a little bit about the lyrics. We're almost at time here, so I'm gonna just leave you with a couple of thoughts on the song before I sign off. One of them is, I mentioned Ron at the top of the episode too, Ron Yamuchi, who I was hoping would join us tonight, but doesn't look like he was able to figure out how to join the live stream, but he said he might try. Maybe another time. Excuse me. So I mentioned Ron and I, wrote this song together. So Ron had this progression, A minor, C, F, G, very standard chord progression in popular music. Common, there's probably multiple songs written using this chord progression. So this is what he had. So when we came together to write the song, there was just something about that chord progression and the way he was playing it. He wasn't playing it on guitar, he was playing it on a Rhodes keyboard, which has a very particular sound. You can hear it in the recorded version. But there was just something about it that I felt this kind of dark underbelly in this song. So that's why I was inspired to write these, about this topic and these lyrics. What Ron said about the song is he really thought of William Gibson's writing when we actually brought the song together, when we finished writing it, and some of the cyberpunk stories. So it was actually Ron who first mentioned the cyberpunk element to it, and then I think Ken added the guitar that added that kind of dark underbelly. Hello, Sandcastle Radio, thanks for joining. So that's Carrier Hotel. Maybe I'll leave you with a little bit of the song, and then we'll sign off for the week. So it releases Friday. So you can hear the remastered version live on all the streaming platforms on Friday. With a music video coming from John Flatman. In the next week or so, we're filming it in Victoria this weekend. If you're somebody who listens to music on the streaming platforms, you can still pre-save the song. Pre-saves help indie musicians like me get more exposure on the streaming platforms. So the pre-save links are in my bio and in my pinned posts on Instagram and Twitter. From streetlight to streetlight, wind your way down Front Street. You dodge the net sweepers, squeeze through a choke point. You carry a message close to your heart. You carry a message close to your heart. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell at the Carrier Hotel. Room on the 8th floor. Wind your way down Machine Hum. Greets you at the door. Stay away from the window. With a little cash and a fake ID, you can be whoever you wanna be at the Carrier Hotel. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to Street is a disappearing act. Every room is full of masks. You walk out as someone else. It's the most real you'll ever be when you're packing your new identity at the Carrier Hotel. You can kiss and we won't tell at the Carrier Hotel. We're all a little closer to hell. I'll meet you at the door. Room on the 8th floor. Leave your heart. 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 Hey, thanks for joining. Thank you so much. Yes, yay, John. Oh, thanks, Suna. Thank you so much. So that's the show for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. You'll notice, those of you that heard me play that song twice on tonight's episode, that it changes every time I play it. I always put a different ending on the end, the vocal tag. Yeah. So that's it. Happy Monday. Happy week. I hope you have a good week, and maybe we'll see you next week. I'll be online, same place, same time. Not sure what we'll do next week, but we'll see. We might do some more Carrier Hotel or some other stuff too. Okay, take care, everybody. Good night. Thanks for joining. Bye.